Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Voxcaster podcast. We are back with another Loonshrine Book Club Wednesdays, hosted by our very own Kim. So, Kim, why don't we just dive on in? I believe we're on, is it 11 and 12 now?
Yeah, lucky number 11 for anyone out there, me included. But yeah, we did chapters 11 and 12 over the last week. Starting off with, let's see, we're just going to jump right into it. Chapter 11, a lot happened.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, it was I would say another turning point in the book,
Hmm.
even though by this point, each chapter has a turning point.
It seems like it, yeah.
It's a lot of turning, so hopefully you guys are buckled in. But no, the Emperor of Mankind was interrogated by our very favorite Mournival, and Loken was invited. Loken was invited by Horus to go attend the Emperor of Mankind's interrogation, where in it we read about how the Emperor, he's given the opportunity to, I guess, recant what he was saying. First of all, I don't want anybody's hearts to be racing too hard, but we find out he's a false emperor, but he takes the opportunity to, I guess, double down and say again, something is coming, something's out there, we're not the only ones, and it's not good what's out there.
Yeah, and I guess it's still like at a point where like most characters in the book, like they still don't really have a grasp on what exactly it is they're talking about, right? From my understanding, like it's almost like they're just like, yeah, these like weird things keep appearing out of nowhere and
Yeah, the only ones who kind of seem to even like think about it or question it are the Remembrancers, Loken, and then like some, like one or two other people in the Imperium. A lot of people, a lot of Space Marines, they don't even question it, like Abaddon and Axeman. See, guys, I am getting better.
slowly.
Slowly
One
but
one
surely.
one name a week, so
That's progress. But no, they both adamantly, like they double down actually in chapter 11, Abaddon more so saying like, no, like this is complete nonsense. I was going to say heresy, but we'll leave that with Horus. But this is like nonsense. Like there's nothing out there. There's nothing supernatural out there. But you also see on the flip side in chapter 11, Ignis Carcassi, second name of the week.
wow.
Yep. But he continues to write poetry and continues to question the Imperium and question what is out there. And he's saying that there's something out there, there's something dark, that it's not just humans and it's not just space marines, there's something in the void. Horus, we read, gets very upset about this. He also gets his pride hurt, pride bruised, I guess is one way to say it. But it also shows the difference between how Horus was in the very beginning of the book to now, kind of when we know darker forces are around and affecting the space marines and affecting people's thoughts. But Horus in his prideful way tells the Emperor of Mankind, the false Emperor of Mankind, you're not an emperor, you're a false prophet, and orders his execution. He kind of questions Horus in he's not the chosen one, like he's not the leader, and he kind of questions what Horus is saying, and it rubs Horus the wrong way and rubs his pride the wrong way. And this is when we're also kind of seeing Horus transition and start changing from the space marine he was into now he's kind of being like overrun with pride, and he orders the Emperor of Mankind to be killed. But it also, at the very end of the chapter, even though the Emperor is killed and what he was saying is no longer, because he can't speak, what he was saying, the prophecies that he was preaching, they go on. People are still thinking, people are still talking and whispering what he was saying. So yeah, we end the chapter with that, and we also with Loken kind of setting himself again apart from the other Space Marines, and especially the Mournival, where he doesn't quite agree with Horus and the decisions that were made. So it was a lot happened in chapter 11.
It's also funny because like now we get like a little scene of like Horus versus N Emperor, kind of like a little like foreshadowing.
Yeah, hopefully, I don't know if the actual battle is going to be any different than that. I'm trying to avoid any spoilers.
Yeah, no, the final fight is crazy.
Yeah, I'm excited to actually read about it though.
Yeah, and I think because you've kind of so like with your kind of like intro into Warhammer, like I guess you haven't because I don't really talk about the Emperor a lot. I'm not like a big Emperor fanboy personally. But you don't have a lot of, like, experience with the Emperor yet, right? So, this is gonna be interesting to see, like, your perspective of him because everybody kinda thinks of him very differently. Like, some people are like, "Yeah, kinda what he does, I kinda get," and others do this, I don't agree at all. That's why, like, in Warhammer, sometimes when you talk to different people, like, who the good guys are is so subjective,
Right.
right? Because it's all, well, depends on what viewpoint you kinda started at.
Yeah. Like we've kind of talked about this in other episodes of
Mhm.
the podcast with Night Lords, especially. Like, what is worse, killing a few
To save
to
the
save
planet.
to save many, or killing many?
Well, yeah, the question is like, would you kill a few people brutally to save lots, or would you kill lots more in a more like sane way, but then your cost of death is greater? Like,
Yeah, you're not really saving anyone at that point.
yeah, so
You're just kind of like picking who gets to live or not.
yeah, so but then I'm just curious to see like because now that you're having like the emperor like slowly be more involved and like stuff like that, I'm curious to see like how your perspective of the Imperium and the Emperor slowly changes as you kind of like learn kind of how he actually is.
But continuing on to chapter 12, we see a complete shift with Loken getting an invite to join basically what would be a fraternity, I suppose. Lodge of, sorry, I had it. He's invited to join the lodge by Axamund and Trogodon, which once again is basically just a fraternity. You're only allowed to join through invitation. You have to go through initiation to join.
Mhm.
And it's a really big contrast from what Space Marines are like on duty and at war, and what they preach outside of the Brotherhood, of the Lodge. The Lodge is meant for talking, it's meant for bonding, it's meant for brotherhood, it's meant for just, I lack a better word, shit talk, really.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like a social gathering circle for Space Marines.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like a knitting circle for Space
It honestly sounds fun. Doesn't take the invitation. But Loken doesn't even take the invitation. He decides against it. And this is actually another one of the biggest turning points, because what the Brotherhood, what the Lodge represents, what it's kind of, well, what Dan Abnett is making us feel is that the Lodge is not something good. Like, something sinister is lurking in the Lodge. And that's because, once again, like, the Lodge is completely different from how Space Marines are supposed to act, how Space Marines are supposed to be like. It's a space that opens up the possibility of minds changing, ideas changing. It opens up the possibility of chaos getting in.
Well, and it also like it opens the door a lot for exclusionary rights because you have these like people in the lodge and people not in the lodge. So it's like, who am I going to trust more? The guys in this inner club or the guys not?
Yeah, exactly. I would trust the people I'm in a group with 100% more than people outside of it. But yeah, it was a really nice kind of slow chapter to get to after the false emperor of mankind said his prophecy. But I no, I really enjoyed the last two chapters.
Sorry, so the lodge stuff was chapter 12?
It's actually in the next half of the book. It's in the Brotherhood of Sinran. I have to double check the name. But yeah, it's in a separate, technically the second half of the book that chapter 12 is in, where it technically starts back at 1.
I got you. Yeah, yeah.
But no, I hope everybody else is enjoying it as much as I am, and I know as much as Max enjoys the story itself, even though he's not reading along, he knows the story.
For the most part, I try to. You know what I will say though that I really like about these books is that these Horus Heresy books, they actually have at the front here, we've never mentioned this for some reason, but at the front of the book, they actually tell you like a rundown of who's who. Like it's called the Dramatis Personae. And these books will tell you like, so it'll say here, like Ezekiel Abaddon is the first captain. They'll tell you that Tarek Torgadon is captain of the second company. Then, it kind of like breaks everything down for you. I really like this because a lot of times if you're like being introduced to some of these characters or like there's a lot of names on screen, you can kind of just flip back and quickly be like, that's who it is. That's this guy. Instead of like, oh, who's this again? And you got to flip back pages, try to like catch up, whatever. Yeah. So no, I really like that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I hadn't even noticed that at first. I just skipped right, like I flipped right to the first chapter, lesson learned.
Jumped right into it. But yeah, no, I like that they do that just for especially for like beginners jumping in, stuff like that. It makes it easier to have a layout of who's who and understand like who's talking to who.
Yeah, it kind of makes my Google Docs seem a little overkill now at this point.
That's nice. So after that, is there anything you wanted to add?
Just wanted to just thank you everybody for reading along and listening and tuning in so far. It's been really fun for me at least. I hope you guys are having just as much fun. But no, it's been really fun to finally start reading the stories of Warhammer and understanding the lore of Warhammer and the characters.
There's only one. Okay, yeah. So we're literally like halfway point. We're like at the halfway point right now. That's sweet. So we got a couple more shows, and then we will be moving forward past the Horse Rising.
Yeah, moving on to the next. Horus Stable?
No, it's not
Mm,
stable. It's like
mm.
gradual downfall.
Oh, no.
But yeah, with that, yeah, thank you everybody for listening along. Check out our website, Insta pages, every social media, and follow along on Discord if you want to join in the conversation with Kim and us. We are going to try to be more active on Discord and our social medias. Some behind the scenes stuff happening here, but we're actively going to be improving that starting next Monday. You guys are going to see a big uptick on our social media accounts. And we want to get more people on our Discord chats. So jump on there. Let's have some talks. Talk to Kim about your thoughts on, the false emperor and all this other stuff. But thank you everybody for all your stuff. And we shall see you this Saturday with another very special guest coming out. So until then, thank you everybody. And we shall see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Love you.